Hi, everyone. This is your host, Kristen Howe, and I would like to welcome you to our call with today's amazing guest, Cyndi Krupp. Cyndi is a Reiki Master and an Ordained Spiritualist Minister who has spent years working with Brainwave Entrainment, the Sedona Method, EFT, NLP, the One Command, Byron Katie's The Work, and most recently, Cyndi became Emotion Code and Body Code certified. Cyndi helps people from all walks of life discover inner peace and expanded awareness with a variety of training, tools, and information. Now, in another life, Cyndi obtained a BA in chemistry and a master's in Polymer Science and worked as a project manager and a quality engineer in a manufacturing plant. Almost 15 years ago, Cyndi was faced with the reality of taking a pill to help her cope with her overwhelming daily panic and anxiety. Her decision to find a better solution led her on an amazing transformational journey that is exactly why she is here today. Cyndi's mission is to fully live in joyous, prosperous, divine service while spreading that joy to others. And on today's call with Cyndi, you will discover two simple truths: that nothing is as it seems and that all things are possible. You'll find out what the noble question is and why it's so powerful. And this is so important, you'll discover the importance of breath and how you can simply tap into your breath to reconnect for massive mind, body, spirit healing. Cyndi, I'm so excited to have you here. I just love your energy. I love being able to share you with everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. Welcome to the call.
Thank you so much for having me. I always love talking to you.
I know. We've got our energy going, and I can't wait, and I'm so excited because everybody who's listening, it's just an awesome group of people, so this is going to be a lot of fun. Can you start off, give us a little bit of what you're about, how you got here, because you went through some pretty serious stuff that actually brought you to us today. So if you could share some of those turnarounds, that would be fantastic.
Absolutely, and it was debilitating. I spent a fair amount of my late teens and into college and afterwards dealing with on-again, off-again panic disorder. It was pretty intense, and I know now, especially since then with all the work I've done, that so many people deal with anxiety and with panic, and really panic is a horrendous feeling, and a lot of times I really felt like I was going to die. And early on in my 20s, especially when I dealt with panic and I dealt with doctors, they would prescribe a pill that I could take just kind of when I needed it. And one of the things that had always caused me panic was this idea of becoming addicted and needing to take outside pills and drugs and stuff to survive. And I used to cut that pill in half and in quarters and take just what I needed to get through the day. And the anxiety would abate for a while, and I'd go on and I'd get a new job, I'd move, I'd do whatever. And then I found myself in Western New York. I had a new job, I had a mortgage, I had two very young children, and the panic hit in a way that was excruciating and very, very painful. I'd lose a day in just trying to focus myself to survive. Like everything was just about getting to work and taking care of my kids, but I would go through these areas of sweats and really thinking that I was going to die. My heart was going nuts. My throat would close up. And I was working as an engineer, a project manager, a quality engineer, all of those things in a manufacturing plant. And I started visiting psychiatrists and psychologists and doctors, and everybody really, they were so much less interested in the cause of the anxiety. All they really wanted to do was treat it, and they wanted to treat it by giving me a pill a day, just, I don't know if it was Zoloft or one of those things. That's all they really wanted to do. And somehow my entire system felt like that was a death sentence. I didn't know why. I wasn't at that time. I wasn't spiritual. I wasn't religious. I didn't feel connected. I was a chemist and loved math, and I believed what I could see, taste, touch, and smell. And yet I brought home a sample pack of these pills, and somehow I looked at them, and A, I thought that they felt like a death sentence. And B, somehow I absolutely knew that if I started taking them, that I would promise them that life to at least one of my children. And I just couldn't do it. And I can remember coming home with that sample pack, locking myself in the bathroom, which for anyone that has young children knows that may be one of the only quiet places in the house. And for the very first time in my life, I remember praying. I was beside myself, and I just opened up, and I was just like, God, if you're real, I need your help now. I cannot go on like this. And then something just, I don't even know how to describe it, because it's not like all of a sudden a bright light came down and everything got better. But I got up and I put those pills on the top shelf of the medicine cabinet, and I went about my life. And it was about 3 years later that I took those pills down and I flushed them, and I never took one. A couple of weeks after that moment, which to me, I told someone recently that panic disorder was one of the greatest gifts that, the universe has ever given me, and they were flabbergasted, but everything occurred from that moment. Today I get to talk to you and work on the web and help people all over the world and just feel better and better every single day. And if it wasn't for the panic disorder and that decision to not take a pill and to figure out the root cause, I'd probably still be in a manufacturing plant. I am certain that I would have a dozen different kind of medical issues going on, and I would be one of those people that really thought life was just hard and stressful and, was composed of hanging out in a cubicle for 60 hours a day and praying for your next vacation. But a couple of weeks after that, I literally saw an ad on a wall for someone that did something called body energy work. I had no idea what it was, but I just got an itch or a push to make an appointment, and I went and saw Patricia, and the first time on her table was my last major panic attack. And my first experience with this idea that the mind, the body, and our emotions are all connected through movement of energy. It was a very wild experience. She'd put her hand on my shoulder, and we would just talk, and I'd feel these surges of energy that came out as panic, because essentially what I've learned through years of study is that panic disorder, that anxiety, really was blocked energy in my system. The energy work she did helped open up enough channels and teach me the energy flow and release that energy that was causing the anxiety. It was a wild experience, and it completely changed my life. She introduced me to meditation. I went searching for a meditation teacher. The meditation teacher I found was studying at a place called the School for Spiritual Healing and Prophecy, and working with Anne. All of a sudden, all these channels in my hands would open up. So all this energy that used to be stuck in my system, creating panic and anxiety and just a really hard life, is now flowing through my palms and my fingertips. And with intention, I can do this from anywhere in lots of places. But at the time, I then take that hand and place it on, someone's shoulder or their knee and set my intention, and pain and different things would start dissipating. And I got more experience with this idea of who we are as conscious, energetic beings. And I followed Anne to school. A person who never went to see a psychic and didn't believe in any of those things is now studying to become a spiritualist minister, which means you can connect and basically fine-tune intuition and talk to people that have passed and become a metaphysician and really learn how to fine-tune and focus and move energy in a way that shifts lives. And moved on from there through the Brainwave Entrainment work to focus on how the mind works. It was more kind of crazy. I don't believe in coincidences. I believe in synchronicity. I believe in setting our intentions and allowing the universe to serve us. And that's literally what happened in those early years. The opportunity to work on the internet, get involved in the personal development blog, do lots of writing, and then move into just helping people with the supermind music and all the brainwave entrainment we do. It was just one step after another. And, I got to tell you, if you were to talk to the person I was 15 years ago and tell that person where I am now, they would have looked at you like you had three heads. There's nothing about my life today that was even in my conscious awareness back then.
Wow. Yeah, I love that, because your story, it is so inspirational, and it speaks to any of us who are listening who are struggling with something. I want to actually, with that in mind, I want to go back to something that you said to me when you first got on. It was before we started the call, and you said to me, you know what? I said, how are you, Cyndi? And you said, I'm great. And you know what? Even when life doesn't look great, it's great. Can you talk more about that? Because that attitude, I just love that, and I think it's something that if we could all just adopt that and realize how to truly adopt it, because you mean it when you say it. You're not faking it. So can you talk more about that?
And I got to tell you, I have goosebumps just at the idea of it. We can train our minds to believe, if you watch how your mind works, it tells you a lot of lies day in and day out all the time. And we can literally program and train our minds to believe whatever it is we want, because that directs our flow and our intention. And I know you're a law of attraction expert, so you know where the mind goes and our thoughts go and our emotions follow. That's what we create. And I truly believe that our life experience is nothing but a mirror and an opportunity for us to, A, celebrate our divinity and our connection, and B, get clues, very clear clues usually, about where we're blocking our expansion. So when things aren't working quite right, it's a huge gift. It's a tremendous gift from the universe, because literally you look at it and say, wow, it's like somebody handed me a Hallmark card that said, clear this from your inside and life is going to get so much better, right? The outer world never does anything to us. The outer world literally just, and our reaction to the outer world, it doesn't do anything but show us what we're holding inside of us. So when things are bumpy and we react to that, it's such a beautiful, perfect, in-the-moment opportunity to clear another button, get us closer into that universal, ever-expanding flow that allows us to create our life on purpose.
I love that. Talk to me about this, because to look at it this way, with what you just said, I think there has to be a willingness to accept that you really are creating your reality. Talk to me a little bit about that willingness, and also that stepping into that power that we're creating our reality and can recreate in any moment.
Well, I got to tell you, I think I have an advantage because of so many of the miracles that have occurred to me in very systematic ways over the last 12, 14, 15 years. But literally, when you think about my story, in that moment, I had a choice, right? In that moment in the bathroom, I literally had a choice. And there was a strong sense, like there was something, I didn't have trained intuition at the time, but there was something inside me that my mother, my father, my friends, the entire Western society would have disagreed with in my world, that said, don't take those pills, there's another way, right? I could have taken a pill. I chose not to. By choosing not to take that pill, I stepped on a totally different path. Totally. I mean, I'm getting goosebumps when I think about it. Life is a series of choices. Like, so even if you don't believe in the metaphysical, and you and I could talk for hours and I could give you 100 examples of where the metaphysical came into my life and miracles happened and all that other stuff, but even if you really want to just stick with logic and mind power and focus, and you look back even the last 6 months or the last 12 months or however far back you want to go, where you are sitting now, you're there based on the choices you made along the way. You created where you are based on how you chose to respond to the world around you and where you decided to go to school, who you decided to date, on and on and on and on. And so any way you look at it, you created your reality up until this moment based on the choices you made, based on the fact that you're on this call, based on how you've decided to hold your energy in your space.
Yeah, so true. And here's the thing, and tell me what you think about this. I think a lot of people, because they know that if they are willing to accept that they can, that's true, I think a lot of people then get stuck feeling guilty about what they've created so far, or they feel like, well, now I've created this, so that's it. I miscreated almost. Is there such a thing as miscreation? Is there such a thing as being stuck, or can you literally recreate starting now?
Oh, well, you are recreating starting now. You literally said energy never stops. Energy never stops. So every breath, every thought, everything you ever go, you are creating. So you are, with every breath, every thought, every choice, either moving towards the life of your dreams or away from it. You are never standing still. That's number one. Number two, any given moment, up until this moment, every one of us has ever only done the best we were able and capable of doing in the moment. There is no guilt. There is no guilt. There is no judgment. Everything we've ever done in that moment was the best we could have done. So right now, I want everybody to just close their eyes, take a deep breath, and let it go. Let it go, because everything you've done up until this moment has led you to this moment, and this moment is the perfect moment to create the life of your dream. There's never been a better moment than right now. And if you had made any other choice yesterday, last month, 6 months ago, you wouldn't be here now. And that's just the truth of the matter. The things that we've called our mistakes in the past are often our biggest blessings.
Yep. I love what you just said, so I want to say it again so everybody really hears it. There has never been a better moment than right now. I think that's just fantastic. People tattoo that on your foreheads in reverse, so when you look in the mirror, you see it, because that's incredible. Okay, so with this, because I think this really helps sort of in the realizing and accepting, yes, I can start creating and recreating right in this moment. Talk to me about the two simple truths, because you say that, one, nothing is as it seems, and two, all things are possible, which is fantastic news. So talk to me about those two.
Well, here's the thing. When we look around our world, our brain filters out, I think it's 99.8% of the information coming to us from the world around us. It's an outrageous number. There's billions and billions and billions of bits of information that we have access to in any given second. But we can't process that. The name of that part of the brain, I've lost it, but it filters out everything except what it expects, which is wild. So essentially it means that as soon as you expect something different, and quantum physics has taught this too, a scientist cannot take themselves out of an experiment. You get what you expect. Therefore, when you change your expectation, you're going to change the entire world around you. That's science. It's not even metaphysics. It's not spiritual woo-woo. It's literally science. And with my sisters and my niece, we did this experiment once, and it was wild. And we said, let's just go look for butterflies. And I went and took this walk, and for a while I just didn't see any butterflies. And then I looked inside and realized there was a piece of me that didn't expect the experiment to work. And I did some energy work, just some allowing and releasing and looking at it. And I laughed at myself. And as I laughed at myself and I said something like, I am open to butterflies, I looked, and in the house right in front of me, there was this huge flag that was covered with butterflies. And then I took 2 more steps, and I looked at another house, and it had these 2 big statues of butterflies. And then before I was done on that walk, I documented 40 different butterflies, I think. And then I was getting the texts from my sister, and she's like, I'm staring at a woman with a tattoo of a butterfly. And my other sister's going, a butterfly just, flew across my car. And, my niece is texting, all within a few minutes. And essentially, we reprogrammed our expectation, opened it up, and it flew into our space. We changed the programming. We changed the bits of information we allowed to come into our space.
I love that. So that's something that everybody can do when they get off the call, right?
Well, you can just go, the experiment was for the next 24 hours, the next 48 hours, I'm going to allow butterflies or ladybugs or green coffee cups, whatever you want. Just kind of allow them into your space. Now, the key is to make it a game. That's really important. Make it a game and just open yourself up to finding them. Have fun with it. And I'll tell you, the hardest one to find is typically the first one, because once you find the first one, then let the floodgates open. Because what was very interesting, or the wildest part, was when I took that walk and I wasn't seeing butterflies, and then I kind of changed my energy in my space and I made it more fun, and I found that first one. I went back and walked the couple of blocks where I wasn't finding butterflies, and they were all over the place. I mean, I found like 6 or 7 more on the same houses and in the same area where I wasn't seeing them at all 40 minutes earlier.
Wow, that's so cool. I love that. Okay, so everybody definitely really pay attention to that and do an experiment in your own life. I think what a cool way to really get that confirmation, right, that you're creating and you're shifting your awareness and all of that. Okay, so talk to me, Cyndi, about the noble question. I know this is one of your favorite things. It's one of my favorite things. Share with us what it is and why it's so powerful.
All right, well, here's the thing. Whether or not you want to call it the universe or your other than conscious mind or whatever it is that's working for you, that system, that matrix is going to answer every single question you ask, everything you ask. So the key, the importance is being very careful about the questions you ask. If you ask the universe why you can't take off this extra 50 pounds, then that's what the universe is going to tell you. It's going to give you all the reasons why you're failing. Why do you care why you're failing? You want to know how to succeed. You want to ask that question that you want to know the answer to, that question that's going to empower you and move you forward. So that's the first step of the noble question. The second step inherent in this noble question is this assumption within the question that you're already successful. So if you, for instance, have a debt issue or you're looking to create more money, I mean, a good way of voicing a noble question would be, how do I become even more abundant than I am right now? Or what additional steps can I take to create $50,000 by the end of next month? So inherent in those statements is the recognition that you're already successful. And as far as abundance is concerned, if you're in a place where you're capable of listening to this call and you have internet access and phone access and you're not right now struggling to figure out how to survive, that means you are more abundant than what, 95% of the human population or whatever the number is. I made that number up. But it means you are abundant. You're so abundant that you're capable of thinking about advancement and consciousness and recreation. So you want to remind yourself of that because it feels really good. If you have a health issue, but you're not currently on your deathbed and unconscious and stuff, you're healthy enough to be listening to this call, to be in that space, that means you're predominantly healthy. So that noble question is going to remind you of that. How do I become even healthier than I am right now? What additional steps can I take on my road to full expansion and increased vitality? The other part of the noble question that I love is that it always includes action and expansion and that space of movement, reminding us that energy never stops. And so, I like these questions. What additional steps can I take to step into an even more beautiful body? How can I make today even better than it already is? What additional steps can I take to bring in the $30,000 that I am manifesting in the next 30 days? Do you feel the power of those questions?
Oh my God, yeah. That's the thing about them. Like it's funny, even hearing the questions before I'm able to start asking them, they're already raising the vibration. I can already feel that.
Yes. So, because there's a lot of ways to use the noble question, and one of them really is when you be careful, there are questions you want answered, but a lot of times what I tell people to do, if they need a way to shift their energy, to turn that switch on, to say they're feeling down and they want to feel up, because, again, you're the law of attraction and the creation expert and stuff, we know we attract and we manifest from a higher vibrational state. If you sit down with a pen and a paper and just start writing these questions out, at some point, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, maybe 7 minutes, it's like a switch, and your vibration just shoots up. It's so much fun. Or when I'm taking a walk, I'll just start asking the questions out loud. And it literally, you can feel it bubbling up. I get excited thinking about it.
Wow, yeah, and I can hear that. I can hear it in your voice. It's infectious, and I think now we're all feeling it. So you don't have to be, I love that you just brought up taking a walk and asking the questions. You don't have to be sort of sitting in a dark room shut off from the world in order to do it. You can use these questions everywhere, right?
Oh, yeah, I'll use it, when I'm driving. And sometimes, we talked about it before, and it's a whole other conversation, but really a key to everything is learning how to focus your mind, right? So when you find that your mind is troubled, or like your vibration is dropping because there's drama or trauma or pain, you can turn all of that into a series of questions. And so you could literally take conscious control of what, so instead of doing that worry and down thing, you catch your mind doing it. You know, I'm still studying it. I don't know what causes it. But, you know, when you're not paying attention, all of a sudden you look, your mind is like doing sorts of crazy stuff that's going to bring you down without you being aware of it. As soon as you catch it, everything the mind's saying, you can turn it around into a noble question.
I love that. I
feels phenomenal.
Love that. Yeah, and it does feel phenomenal. Now, here's something, and I know this is something you're really passionate about. I am too. How does breath and breathing and all of that stuff play into all of this? I mean, I know I'm just going to sort of say, Cyndi, talk to us about breathing and the importance of it, because now I know you're just going to like go. So go for it.
Yeah, well, you know, it's so interesting because when I sit down with people and we're doing some counseling work or they're having troubles, almost the first thing I will ever ask them is, well, are you breathing? And they will automatically, almost every single time, say no. Now, most people believe that they're breathing all the time, and the thing is, there is that automatic breath that keeps the body from dying, right? If you don't get any oxygen at all, the body's going to just shut down. Only that breath, and it's the breath that anyone that's really stressed or anxious or in overwhelm, they're really kind of living that breath. I think it provides maybe 12% of the oxygen that the cells need. And again, I'm kind of making these numbers up. One of these days I'm going to sit down with the numbers that I've created. I'm pulling them out. But it's a very low percentage of the optimal amount of oxygen, that breath. It's just enough breath to keep you moving from point A to point B. But essentially what you're doing when you're breathing like that, you're holding your breath because you're in this kind of fight or flight kind of activity. So you're like taking the breath in and you're kind of holding it and tightening the muscles. The oxygen's not getting to the muscles. It's not getting to the organs. It's not getting to the neural synapses in your brain. It's literally just going to make sure the blood pumps through the heart enough to keep you from dropping dead. But it's not allowing you to function with any kind of efficiency or happiness or joy or any of those things. And literally, you can shift your physiology, your emotions, your ability to think by stopping and consciously breathing for even just a few minutes. And it's an amazing kind of shift. And what I will tell people to do is something that's called the continuous breath. And you could do it sitting, you could do it in the car, you could do whatever you want. But for those people looking to make fast changes to their ability to manage their day-to-day, to think, to get more intuitive, to spearhead their manifesting abilities, whatever it is. And I tell them, you know, lay down I don't do this on a bed because I don't want to fall asleep, on a hard floor, comfortable. I put a blanket over me because once you start to relax, your blood pressure drops and sometimes you get cold. I use a pillow. I want to be comfortable. And then it's just simply a conscious, continuous breath, which literally just means that there's no space between the in-breath and the out-breath. And when you've been tense, anxious, overwhelmed, you will find that takes some real conscious effort to retrain your system to allow the oxygen to come in and the carbon dioxide to come out in this continuous flow. So that's the very first thing. It doesn't matter what the count is. It doesn't matter if the in-breath is longer than the out-breath. This is not a yogic meditation. This is literally just lying there, step one, and making sure that your in-breath and your out-breath becomes this continuous cycle. And once you do that, the next step is you allow your focus to go wherever it wants. And where the focus is going to go is wherever the body has been starved of oxygen. And maybe the shoulders, the hips, the gut is a big one that it goes to. And the oxygen is going to start to flow to places where it's oxygen starved. I got to tell everybody listening that sometimes in the beginning when you first do this, the experience can feel uncomfortable. in a lot of different ways because, A, so many of us are not used to being relaxed. It gets a little scary. And B, it's almost like if you're walking around with your hand in a tight fist for like weeks and weeks and weeks, you get used to that feeling. As you breathe into that area and it starts to let go, like when your foot goes to sleep and it starts to wake up. It doesn't always feel really good during that transition. But would you rather your foot be awake or asleep? So the key is to just continue to breathe through all of that. And then you get to this point where you open up and you expand and the oxygen gets to the cells that where the oxygen needs to be, and your body starts to recover, and, you know, it will become healthier. Your emotions will release. Your thoughts will quiet. I mean, everything. And if you commit to doing that for 15 minutes a day, if you are not a breather and you commit to something like this 15 minutes a day, the transformation could be unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable.
I love that. So 15 minutes a day. Now, do you think that's something that before we're in the habit of it, we should decide when we're doing it? Or is it, you know, something that we go, oh, okay, I'm feeling a little, you know, when is the optimal way to do it? Or maybe there isn't one.
Oh, yeah, I don't have rules. I know from a habitual standpoint, when you get used to doing something the same time every day, your body will remind you it's time to do that. So there is an advantage to that.
Okay.
But personally, I'm in this space now where I'm looking to break habits. You know, I'm in a current space of wanting to become more and more and more flexible. So I personally don't like doing that anymore, but it was very, very useful to literally be in this space of saying, well, this is the 15 minutes where I'm going to breathe, because you get into that habit, and if you can get into a routine, then that becomes easier in the beginning. But then you get to the point where you love it so much that you make sure you have time for it.
And I think that's so true. Actually, is there something like a breath exercise or something that you could take us through here on the call just so that people can feel what it is to connect with their breath?
Well, if everybody just wants to take a moment and close their eyes even and allow themselves to feel their seat. And I always love saying that. Feel their feet on their floor, if it's on the floor, and feel your seat. And that allows you to move into the body. And as you do that, and as you close your eyes, and as you listen to my voice, I don't want you to do anything other than just allow the breath to naturally quiet and deepen. There's nothing to force. There's nothing you have to do. Just allow the breath to come in, and then allow it to go out, and then come in again. And just kind of pay attention to that space, that transition between the in and the out and the in. And if the body wants to hiccup there or stop, you know, just make it a soft suggestion to allow it to continuously go in and out. And as you do, just notice if your whole system is becoming quieter. Notice if your seat is becoming a little bit heavier. If you're becoming more aware of how good it feels to be in the body. A body that is just naturally beginning to unwind and relax as the breath continues to go in and come out. Everything just got so quiet.
Yeah, that's amazing. And it, for me at least, and I can only speak for me, doing that results in a feeling of grounded expansion is the best way I can think to describe it.
Yes. Yes. Do you know, and this is a totally different subject. There's so many things we could talk about. But here's the thing people believe in their manifestation. Visualization I know is very important, and knowing that you're there is very important. But what's equally important is doing all of that while you remain very physically grounded in your body, because you want to bring your manifestations into the physical. And if you literally go into that alpha kind of dream state and you stay out there and you dream out there and you're not grounded and you don't bring it into the body, then your manifestations stay out there. You don't want them out there. As fun as they are to visit out there, what you really want to do is bring them into the physical.
Oh, my God, that was a light bulb. I've never heard someone put it that way. And that's brilliant, because you're right. It is a physical world. So we do all the stuff, and then you have to be grounded to bring it through into the physical world. That's amazing, Cyndi. Thank you. That's
You're
so
welcome.
cool.
That's like the third or fourth time I get these, they call them God bumps or goosebumps, but I hope everybody else is feeling what's going on during this conversation. But there's just a lot of shifting and changing and transition, and I just, I'm very, very excited about whatever it is we're creating right now.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting, and I'm feeling it as well, so I'm right there with you. So I'm sure everybody's feeling it because, like I said, this is an awesome group. Talk to me with all of this, okay, because you're really passionate about music and, what music does for us. So talk to me a little bit about that.
Well, can I go right into super mind music? Because literally I got to the music point through the Brainwave Entrainment. So,
sure.
In those months and years, even after my little trip, after locking myself in the bathroom and telling the universe there's another way, I went out and experimented with a lot of things. I didn't have like an Eckhart Tolle kind of transition. My expansion and transitioning, it's a continuous process. Let's put it that way. And so one of the things that I discovered fairly early on was this technology called Brainwave Entrainment. And it really called to me because here I am, an engineer and a logical person that got thrown into the world of spirituality and metaphysics. I said yes to it, but it was totally blowing my mind. And Brainwave Entrainment in a lot of ways brought it all together, because essentially scientists have shown and they've proven that you could go ahead and put electrodes on somebody's head and you can map out brainwave patterns. People used to tell you your intelligence was determined by the number of brain cells that you have, and that's really not true. We all, at this point, have many more brain cells than we'll ever use. Our intelligence and our ability to create and think outside of the box, they all relate to the number of neural pathways, the connections between brain cells. And the connections are made through an electrical chemical process. And this electrical chemical process can be mapped. It's speed and frequency and all sorts of things. They're like sine waves, and you can map that using these electrodes. And you can put electrodes on somebody's head who is in a highly creative state or a highly stressed state, or who is very, very effective, or who has something called a millionaire mind, or who is communing with God, or whatever, deep meditative state, whatever it is. And you can get a very specific brainwave pattern. You can see it on the screen. This is what the brain waves look like of someone who is relaxed, someone who is healthy, someone who is creative or effective, or any number of different specific states. And this brainwave technology literally is bells and whistles. And at this point, Jeff Cheniak does all of our brainwave entrainment, and he is, he's one of my mentors, and I just think he's brilliant, and he never stops experimenting. He never stops expanding, and there's so many different ways that he does this now. But essentially, the technology acts to ease somebody's brain into a specific brainwave pattern. So we could take someone who is chaotic and stressed and overwhelmed, and we can ease them by entraining their brain so that their brainwave pattern mimics now the brainwave pattern of someone who is relaxed, open, calm, peaceful, and deep sleep, whatever it is that we want to do. It's pretty cool.
Wow, so cool.
Yeah. Early on in the technology, one of the keys or one of the tricks was getting somebody to listen to it every day, because it was pretty boring to listen to. People would mask, a lot of it with white noise or nature sounds or chimes or whatever, but there was no real or very specific kind of music. There was no real kind of music. There wasn't anything enjoyable to listen to, A, and B, the technology was really designed early on when I was listening especially that you needed to put 40 minutes aside and sit and just do this work. And that eventually, after 30 days or whatever, you would create a new pathway for your brain to kind of entrain to, and then you'd go deeper and deeper and deeper. And in our dream of manifesting, what we wanted to create, and really Jeff and my partner Ian, it was their real baby in their brainstorm, was this idea that if we could combine this amazing technology with music people would want to listen to anyway, that they could enjoy listening to anyway, A, and B, if we could set it up so that they could be doing other things while they were listening to it, then we could compensate for like the number one reason why this technology doesn't work or didn't work for people, which is people weren't listening. You need to listen. And so it took Jeff quite a bit of experimentation and work, and we finally got the two married in the creation of the Supermind music. So we have the product line with this music, and again, there's the Mozart effect, and there's a whole bunch of studies that literally have indicated that just listening to music with the Mozart effect, it's a complicated enough system for the body to use it that it literally, music itself can help create new neural pathways, or it can help you remind yourself of something beautiful. It calms your nerves. It does so many wonderful things, music on its own. But when you combine it with a specific kind of brainwave entrainment technology, we spearhead and like supercharge the music, and we've set it up so that for the most part, people can be checking emails or taking a walk or reading a book or writing that paper they want to write or doing a whole bunch of other things while they're listening and getting all the benefits of the technology.
Wow. Awesome. Okay, so talk to me about, you've put a lot of time and energy and passion, which is my favorite part of what you put into everything, into this. Can you share with us some of the turnarounds that people have experienced from using this?
Well, we have. I wish I should have gotten numbers, I guess. I used to be a number person, but somehow I don't hold on to them like I used to. But there's well over 1,000 testimonials on the site of people coming back to us and saying, essentially, oh my God, and I've had quite a few that have brought tears to my eyes and that inspire me and motivate me. And we keep asking, what else can we do? How much further can we take it? But a lot of people have come back to us and said, thank you, thank you, thank you. I can sleep now. And that's a biggie for anyone that has had trouble sleeping or staying asleep. A lot of these audios can put you in such a relaxed space. Our deep delta audios, predominantly, they are designed to retrain the brain how to get to this deep delta pattern. The deep delta pattern is that space that is deeper than dream sleep, and it is the place where the body produces everything it needs to produce for the body to heal, all the anti-inflammatories and the anti-aging hormones, and it just allows everything to unwind and twist and heal and rejuvenate itself. And deep delta is the first thing that goes in anyone that has a chronic illness. So anyone that's dealing with any type of inflammatory illness or chronic illness, they lose this ability to get into deep sleep. And when you're not in deep sleep, the body cannot heal itself. And so having people come back to us and talk about how wonderful their sleep has become has been just, phenomenal. And I've had people come back and said, I've been in so much pain for such a long time. And this was actually a surprise because we really thought clearing pain and stuff would not be an immediate. There are short-term and long-term benefits to these audios. And we've had people that have come and said, I've spent a half hour, listening to this particular audio, and for the first time in 20 years, I'm getting out of a chair with ease.
Wow.
And that just kind of blew me away. And then I get a kick out of some of these others where people have come back and said, I don't know why, but everybody in the office just seems so much nicer and more effective now. And essentially what they're saying is that I've gotten into a place where I can see people differently. I'm more capable of problem solving. I'm more capable of really being in that quiet space of understanding how to get along with others, better in a much more specific kind of state. So it's really very cool, and it's very, very, very exciting.
Wow. Yeah, it's so exciting. And I asked you to, and you put together a special offer for everyone listening. And so what I want to do, everyone, because I know you want to check this out, just simply click on the special offer button that is on this page. And Cyndi, I'd love if you could sort of walk us through what we're going to find there.
All right. Well, I am in love with the system. It is by far the best thing that we've ever created. We spent months and months and months really thinking about everything that the Supermind music has done for people and what people have asked for more of and how we can be of service. And one of the things that this system is the mind, body, spirit music system. What we've done is we've created a very comprehensive user manual that describes in a lot more detail the utilization of the music and the brainwave entrainment and how it can help people. But we've also included, and I spent my heart and soul is in there, quite a few processes, like the breath work, but visualizations and different goal writing processes, healing processes, how do you get smarter process, all sorts of processes that can be used while listening to the audios or even at other times, that are just, a very specific description of how to use the noble question and what it is, all of those things. There's a dozen or 14 or 15 or however many processes there are in this user manual. And really, it helps move everything together. And then we have 3 sections, 3 modules, one for the mind, one for the body, one for the spirit. And there's actually, I believe, 2 modules in each of those sections. There's so many audios involved. I think it's well over 70% off what the retail price if you were to buy these audios individually, that type of thing. Like, the numbers, again, are crazy. But we have audios in each of these sections, audios that literally help you become smarter in that section, help with goal setting and visualization, as well as increasing IQ and doing, ways to learn languages and learn new skills, and all sorts of things are in the mind section. The body section is focused on healing and stress reduction and relaxation, and it's just phenomenal. People have literally come back to me hours after they bought the system to say, I can't believe the change I already feel with one lesson. And then the last section is on spirit, and that's really on raising your vibration, as well as on ways to connect with your other than consciousness and whatever you want to call that benevolent energy that runs through us and connects us all. And we have audios that have brainwave entrainment, as well as things like the Schumann resonance to help you really connect to the ground, as well as frequencies that open you up and put you into a brainwave energetic state that helps you connect with these things that we can't really see, taste, touch, and smell. And it's just really, there's tears in my eyes when I think about the transformations that have already taken place and that will take place when people really invest themselves in spending time with these audios and time with these processes and making those choices that'll bring them into lives that really none of us can really comprehend. Life is just going to keep getting better and better. It's the way it is.
See, I love, and everyone, I'm sure you can hear it. I mean, the true passion that you have for this is just, it's remarkable and it's thrilling, and I'm so excited to be able to share that with you. It's such an amazing thing, and it's such a gift. Just purely your passion is a gift. So thank you for that. Let me ask you this. When people start using this, and you've already given us some examples, but I just want to ask you the direct question, what are some things that people could start to experience literally right away? What are some of the, things that we can expect to start to feel and see right away?
Well, short term, people just start feeling better. There's a peace that occurs when you start listening to these audios, and a happiness. Some of these audios are literally designed to bring you into the vibrational state of happy, which is very cool. And the relaxation, there are audios in this package that I'll literally listen to when I have to pay my bills or put spreadsheets together and look at things that are uncomfortable. And I can use them in the moment and make those experiences expansive and easy and joyful and effective. There are audios in the system that literally when I have writer's block, I can't solve a creative problem, I can put those audios on and within moments move into that space where the writing comes easy. And people have, in one or two listens, whatever, they've really reported this ease in sleep and, an ease of their physical symptoms and all sorts of things. And those are quite a few of these short-term benefits. Longer term, I love to tell people, basically it's almost like you're creating grooves in an old album, new pathways for your brain to automatically sit in. So instead of the automatic response going into overwhelm or stress, your automatic response is going to go into one of ease and expansion and health and healing. On top of which, every time you listen, you're literally creating new synapses. So absolutely, you're getting smarter. Every time you listen to Brainwave Entrainment, you are, by definition, increasing the ability for your brain cells to communicate with each other, so you're getting brighter and smarter and more capable of problem solving, and that just keeps growing as you invest. There's a limit. We suggest you spend no more than 2 hours a day in the beginning and no more than 4 hours ever. There can be some, I don't even want to call them side effects, but sometimes in the beginning, or if you listen too much, there can be some sensations that are uncomfortable as energy blockages that you've held in your system for a long time come up to be processed and released and all sorts of things. And I got to tell you, I know that in the gym, trainers tell you no pain, no gain. I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all. I believe that life is meant and designed to be easy and joyful, and if something hurts or if something is uncomfortable, we back down and we slow things down and we allow our body to go as quickly as we want it to go. There's more than enough time. There's an infinite amount of time to do things in a way that feels good and right and is fun. So it's just so wonderful.
It is. It's so wonderful. And I love actually that you're getting smarter while you use this. I think it's the coolest thing ever. But yeah, I just love all of the benefits. It's really across the board. It's for your whole self. And I love that you even have stuff in there, because what's the big aha moment I had on this call was that whole, when you said you have to get grounded physically to bring your manifestations into the physical world. And I love that you even have some tools for that in there. So that's fantastic. This is an amazing package that we've put together. So go ahead, click on that special offer button, and you'll see for yourself. Cyndi, you're awesome. You're a rock star. What do you want to share with us as we leave you today? What do we need to hear from you?
Other than I love every single one of you, and I am just super excited about this, because in general, I know that it's so wonderful to bring more and more happy people into the world, if that makes sense. Every one of us that makes the decision to step into enjoying their lives more, expanding, celebrating that, it's the whole butterfly effect. So if you don't want to be happy and successful for yourself, understand that when you do, you're probably transforming the lives of thousands of others. So I'm really, really excited everybody is here and feel really blessed to have been able to spend this time with everyone. I feel such love for you and everybody who's listening. And I'm just very, very excited.
I am as well. Thank you. And it's true. We are all here raising the vibration together. And that's our personal vibration as well as the vibration of the entire universe. And I know that might sound lofty, but I firmly believe it. And I see that reflected around me all the time. And I know you do too as well. Right, Cyndi?
I do. I absolutely do. Yeah. It's very motivating. If there's some risk in wallowing.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we're all here doing amazing things together. Everyone listening, you're all fantastic. I can't wait to be here again with you the next time. And Cyndi, just thank you, thank you, thank you. You are a magnificent person, and I so appreciate you being here with us.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And until the next time, everyone, keep manifesting. Bye-bye, y'all.